Lights up, we taking it high, can't relax. Voices of the culture, welcome NBA Max. Truth in the numbers, fire in the stats. If you love this game, then you know we run it back. Sorry from hoops, social building roots where I stand. Home with legends reminisce, shaping who I am. Culture in the moment, every voice gets a seat. We rise together strong, community complete. Fluent from sports, fluent, making knowledge appear. Turn the jargon to a language every fan can hear. Break it down simple, then I lace it with finesse. Wisdom flowing smooth, that's the art of success. Chris from All-American Hooper, I give it 100, no doubt. Teacher on the grind, showing what it's all about. From the classroom lessons to the sweat that I show. Built for the hustle, that's the only way I go. It's Jalen Carter on the beat. Every bar's in tune, turn arenas to a stage. Make the culture boom. Notes hit like buckets, rhythm sharp as an axe. Soundtrack of the moment. This is NBA, man! Lights up, we taking it higher.
And if you use OBS, you can live stream a whole panel on TikTok. Oh, really? I thought for the TikTok studio, you had to have like a PC. And all my stuff is Mac. So if that has changed, please let me know.
TikTok Studio is so weird. It's like I tried it the one time. Like maybe I had to be a little more patient with it, but it was like so complex, and I couldn't really find anything on the internet to get it to have me go live on TikTok along with StreamYard. It was very complicated.
I know I can use OBS with a Mac. I've used OBS before. What I said was to get it to be on TikTok. My understanding was you had to be.
What's OBS?
OBS is it's like StreamYard. Okay. It's just a platform where you can kind of set up backgrounds, and it's actually, no offense, I'm on StreamYard, I'm going to get intro. It's significantly better than StreamYard because there's a lot more customizations you can do, and maybe StreamYard has more customizations that I don't realize. Listen, do you guys, just random question, because Abdullah asked me this yesterday during Fluent and Chill and I didn't answer it. Do you guys follow wrestling at all?
I do not.
Not anymore as much.
Ever?
Yeah, yeah. During like the Stone Cold Undertaker, era.
My brothers did. I never did.
Was young. The Kane had a mask.
Someone keeps asking me who's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
Oh, okay. I can tell that. I'd say, Hulk Hogan, whether you like him or not, his impact on wrestling. Ric Flair is a big one. He was before my time, but he's kind of loved by generations. Yeah. And then I put the
Island, airplane flying, kiss stealing, son of a gun.
There it is. He has cultural impact. I'd put The Rock just because of what he did in wrestling and what he did after he became, probably the most famous wrestler of all time. And then my fourth guy is The Undertaker. That's just personal preference, I think. I just think his streak at WrestleMania, iconic, was undefeated for 22 years, I think, 23, one of those, and then eventually lost. But I guess Stone Cold's in the conversation too. There's a couple guys, but those would be my four.
See, when you say Mount Rushmore, and we're going to get to basketball, but someone asked me a wrestling question, so I apologize. And Chris, I know you don't watch wrestling, so you're going to be like, what the hell? But that's okay.
That's fine.
When you say Mount Rushmore, do you mean the best? And then if you mean the best, do you mean like the most technical, the most athletic? Because let's be honest, it's not like you can't go by record.
Right. It is fake for everyone watching. It's known.
Not fake. No.
Not fake, I guess. Yeah, it's scripted. It's scripted.
So, but with the outcome being scripted, you can't say, well, I won the most matches, or I beat you 10 times and out of the 15 times that we fought, or I was a champion 17 times and you were only a 15.
I guess I forgot Cena. I'm so sorry. I mean, Cena's, John Cena.
I was going to say, I feel like he's the one. He's definitely one of the
outsider, Chris. As the outsider, Chris, who is this? I've never seen Cena, though, is the problem. If you're as the outsider, Chris, if you were to hear two people, or a bunch of people having this conversation about who is the on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, knowing that it's scripted.
Yes. Oh,
Fluent just kicked himself.
That's interesting. Okay. Is he still in the chat? No, he's not. No. He's not even in the waiting room.
He just kicked himself. Hey Chris, you can start.
That was crazy. I don't know what just happened there.
Oh, yeah. I was about to check in with you on TikTok, but luckily I didn't turn the volume up because It would have went off, but you were asking as the outsider, what's my thing on?
As the outsider, what would you say the criteria needed to be?
I don't know. Yes, because like you said, since the results are scripted, yeah, like I guess it would have to be impact on the game and like bringing viewership up. So if that's the case, obviously Hulk Hogan's probably the most famous one, and I guess I don't know if you like I don't know if that makes Andre the Giant also disqualified from that. Maybe since they were rivals. I don't know if that's. I do agree with Jaylen. I feel like the Rock is probably the most famous in addition to Cena. So I don't know who the fourth guy would be, if it would be Andre the Giant or if it would be someone else that Jaylen mentioned.
Yeah, I think and that's what I struggle with, because if it's impact, then it's Hogan, Flair, Austin, and The Rock. Cena might replace The Rock because he left for such a long time. But keep in mind The Rock is interesting because he had actually won again. Not that wins matter, but they matter in the sense that they give the belt to people who elevate viewership, right? That's why you get the belt. It's because you get a pop, because people watch when you're either winning or losing. So that's why it's like it's so hard for me. It's like, yeah, probably those four, but like technically, it's guys. Not most guys haven't heard of, but like if we're talking about most technical wrestlers, well, then we're talking about like Bret Hart and Dean Malenko, and people would be like right off the bat with the second one, who the hell's Dean Malenko, right? Like who's that? So it's Bob Backlund. Who the hell's Bob Backlund? Watch Bob Backlund put you into 15 different submission holds. If it's on the mic, then for sure it's Austin. Do you know The Rock? Yeah, there's those guys for sure. If it's favorites, I liked all my like the villains. Like my favorites were like Macho Man, who always got beat because he was a heel. Kevin Nash. Big Sexy.
The only villain that I know is this guy is Batista. That's the one that I always heard of.
Oh yeah,
Batista. Yeah.
Batista. Yeah. So it's interesting. So okay, that's our wrestling Razor remote. Listen, NWO as the original, not what the hell it became, was probably the best wrestling television for a year that there's ever has been. So it's interesting.
First of all, generational. The older I get, I feel like every sports conversation is generational.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and I always say this is my thing, but the time that you watch a sport, when you watch it between the ages of 15 to 25, I think it holds a very special place in a lot of people's lives.
I watched wrestling when I was younger. When I was younger, so maybe a little younger than 15. But you're right. Like I look back and sneak. I'll tell you the story. I used to sneak into Maple Leaf Gardens. For those of you in Toronto, Maple Leaf Gardens was like, it was back in the day when you could still smoke, and we'd sneak in and we'd come in from the top and it would be all smoky, and we'd sneak our way down, and the way Maple Leaf Gardens was set up was where they came in, the platform was even with the ring. It was a horrible setup, and I saw Andre the Giant, Jimmy Superfly Snuka jumping off Andre the Giant's shoulders. Those are the guys I saw. So those are the guys that, when you ask me, it's like, those are the guys that stick in my head, because I remember as a kid, like thinking it was real and being like, whoa, these dudes are killing each other. Yeah, right? Towards the Animal Steel eating the turnbuckle. I'm like, that dude, that's sick. So, but I agree with you. Because let's be honest, if you asked me to name 5 wrestlers today, I couldn't.
Yeah, 100%. I think with like sports, I would say 50 to 25, because obviously when you're a kid, you start watching.
Sorry, when you're a kid, I watched 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
When you're a kid, you watch it, but I feel like let's just say between you start really like when you're into, let's say, basketball, football, you start Googling stats, start Googling people from the past. And at like 15 to 25, you're kind of grown enough to debate with your friends, talk about it. You have all this time in the world because you're just going to school, watching sports, right? A lot of people at school, sports, games, video games, right?
I remember the stories of each, like people always ask me, how did you become a Laker fan in Toronto? And I said, because the first basketball game, like NBA game that I actually watched beginning to end was the 1979-80 NBA final, game 6, Magic at center takes the tip. And I was like, damn, what's this sport? Like, I didn't even know the sport. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's my Magic. Oh yeah, Magic, the Lakers. And of course they won. So as a kid, you're like, oh, perfect. That's the first game I watched. And people said I had to be a Celtic or a Laker fan. I'm like, well, the first game I watched, Celtics weren't even in it. And I don't like the color green. So here we go. I then, again, fast forward a couple of years, watch a Chicago Bears game in Chicago against the Lions. Bears win by a field goal in overtime. Walter Payton rushes for 163 yards. It was Mike Ditka's rookie year coaching. So he's walking up and down the sideline, chomping on his gums, screaming and yelling at it. And I'm like, ooh, these guys are good. A couple years later, they win a Super Bowl. Well, why have I been a fan of those two teams for 40 years? Well, that's why. It was that first impression of, wow. And that like, if that was a bad experience, maybe I don't ever watch.
Ironically enough, actually, it's funny you say that, because the very first game that I went to was Celtics Nets in New Jersey. I always forget the name of that arena, whatever it was called at the time, or if it's still a thing. But I remember going there, and obviously it was 2008, so the Celtics like had their big three, like, and they were stacked, and they won by 1 million that game. But I also, but I remember just coming away with that saying like, oh, I might be a Nets fan because like the crowd, because like, it was like the home team. So like I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But then like eventually like that must have gone through my dad's head. So then he really shoved it down my throat. He's like, oh no, we're Celtics fans. Like just like we like the Mets and the Giants.
Okay. You weren't allowed to change.
No, yeah. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. So so then I
think that's the plus side of being from Toronto, because I had no interest in CFL. So I could pick any NFL team I wanted because we don't have an NFL team. We didn't have an NBA team at the time, so I could pick whichever one I wanted. I even say college. Everyone says, who's your favorite college team? And I'm like, it's North Carolina. And they're like, oh, because of Jordan? And I'm like, no, because of my favorite college player, James Worthy. Because he was significantly better in college. Like, let's be honest. And so that's my guy. So a couple of quick questions. What is January 9th? And are you ready for it?
That's so basically it's like in Tamil cinema, the basically like the Will Smith, Tom Cruise of Tamil cinema, who's been like the biggest actor for the past decade, actor for 30 years. It's the last movie before he jumps into politics. So he's had like a 35-year career. It's the last movie, but it actually got delayed. Barely his political opposition's already getting to work. They delayed last movie. So it's a big deal within the Tamil diaspora and across the world. Pretty. I mean, yeah, he makes Tamil films, but I mean, it'll be the #1 film in like India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia.
I was gonna say, are you Sri Lankan?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, you learn something new every day, Fluent.
When I go onto AI and I say make an intro for NBA Max, Tony is a Greek guy, looks like this. Chris is your typical All-American D-bag. Ori is a no melanin Puerto Rican, and then I put Jaylen Indian with good hair, like that. And I get almost exactly you, by the way. So I didn't realize you're Sri Lankan. My bad. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, that movie got delayed, but we'll give it a watch.
So someone did ask this question, so I will quickly do it because I do want to go into basketball. I apologize. We've been taking a lot of wrestling. So the question, by the way, for those of you who are on TikTok who don't see it on YouTube. Fluent, what was your take on the Montreal screw job? So, Chris, do you know what the Montreal screw job is?
I feel like I've heard it before, but like, no, what is it exactly?
I'll give you the 15-second recap. Bret the Hitman Hart is the heavyweight champion of the WWF at the time. His contract is set to expire Sunday night. He's having one last match against Shawn Michaels. He refuses to lose the belt. Because the next day on Monday, he's going to another competing company, WCW. And so they go back and forth with Vince McMahon, who's like the owner or CEO, whatever. And he says, okay, fine. If we do it respectfully, you can win, but you can't go to this competing brand, not new, but this competing brand with our belt, right? And like throw it in the garbage or something, because they actually had a female wrestler do that once before. So he goes, okay, cool. Well, as part of the match goes on, Shawn Michaels puts Bret Hart into Bret Hart's finishing move. It's called the sharpshooter. And Vince is on the sideline going, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. He never tapped out. And they said, yeah, ding, ding, ding. He tapped out and he loses. He spits in Vince McMahon's face, and it's become the Montreal screw job, that they screwed him out of the belt and blah, blah, blah. And apparently he went and punched someone in the face and gave him a black eye and blah, blah, blah. My thoughts on it are, everybody knew. Everybody knew. Even Bret Hart knew that's exactly as it was scripted. Every single piece of what happened that night was scripted. Bret Hart knew he was going to get screwed. The black eye thing, scripted. The spitting in the face, because you see him looking at him before it happens, and he's just standing there and lets a guy spin his. I'm telling you, it was all. Everybody was in on it. All of them knew. The ref, Vince, Bret, Sean, all of them. That's my take on it. I don't buy it for a second that Bret didn't know. So there you go. That's my take. To basketball. Trae Young has said, apparently, that his first choice, which was the third team he mentioned, by the way, his first choice is to go to the Washington Wizards.
Interesting choice.
Do you believe him?
I mean,
not for a second.
Does he have any connection to Washington? Is he from there? Does he have family there? Is his wife from there? Yeah, I mean, when it comes to winning basketball, not exactly the place you want to go. Playing with Alex Sarr could be interesting. I think the perfect big man to play next to him. But yeah, kind of weird that would be Washington.
I heard initially he wanted to go to Minnesota or I want to say Milwaukee, but I could be wrong. Minnesota or Milwaukee. They had no interest in him. The only team that has shown any interest publicly is Washington. So I think this is him just saying, I'm going to make it easy on you guys. I'm going to tell you I want to. Oh, Brooklyn. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right, Aaron. Aaron Adams in the clutch. You're right. It was Brooklyn or Minnesota. They had no interest in him. And now he's saying, oh, my first choice is Minnesota, or is Washington, excuse me. So I think here's exactly what happened. The only team that management came to him and said, hey, the only team that's showing any interest is Washington. Do you want to go there? Yes or no? So he comes out publicly and says, well, actually, that's my first choice. I want to go to Washington. Now he makes it easier for Washington to do the deal, for Atlanta to do the deal. And everybody thinks he's getting what he wants. I think he has zero. I think he had zero interest in going into Washington until he found out nobody else wanted him.
Humbling for him, probably.
Well, because he's a fraud. As our thing says, Trae Young equals fraud.
Fraud is a strong word. I don't think anybody who's giving you 25 and 11. No, there's nobody who's going to give you 25 and 11 is being a fraud. Is he problematic? Yes. What
am I saying? Why am I calling him a fraud?
I don't know. Why are you calling him a fraud? Yeah, why are you calling him
a fraud? So that is a good question though, because saying that he's a fraud assumes that like other people think that he's like him. But I think everyone knows at this point that he's at best a top 25 player in the league. And
which is phenomenal.
It's great.
Fraud.
That's why I said at best. That's why I said at best top 25. So because here's the big thing with my thing with Trae Young is that I don't know which team actually would fully want him. And I don't say that as someone to disrespect, but what I am saying is that his play style is very distinct. He's someone who's very, very ball dominant. He's amazing off the pick and roll. That's where he's most valuable. He's a really good 3-point shooter. He's very clutch in certain moments. That being said, can he be the best player on your championship team? Absolutely not. Can you be the second best player on your championship team?
Absolutely,
I still don't think so. Just third best player. I'm thinking maybe just because if you have two All NBA players and another All Star, then yes.
So pause right there. Right there. So how many teams in the NBA? You don't have to name them. How many teams in the NBA have a bona fide number one?
30? Is it less? Like, is it more or less than 30?
Say 20.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. How many have a bona fide number two?
10.
10. 15.
Great.
Yeah, 10.
And so we just agreed he doesn't fit into either one of those roles. So
I disagree with the second. You put him next to Giannis as the second best player. You put the right guys around him.
You put him next to Giannis, it's the same thing that happened with Damian Lillard.
Yeah, but Damian Lillard was older.
It doesn't matter. There's no defense.
And he's much better than Trae Young.
Almost 4.5 turnovers per game, and he's one of the least efficient shooting guards in the NBA.
Hey, but you put him with Giannis, an elite defender.
He's going to get frustrated that he's a pylon on defense. All the pressure is going to fall back to Giannis. Giannis is going to get hurt, and the team is going to stink.
You got Miles Turner to back him up too. You put a couple of wing guys in there who can defend and score. I think besides Giannis,
so that's the thing, Jaylen, is that you need to build like this like super great, this like super like great team built around him. So if you have like Giannis, if you have like OG and Mikhail, like the Knicks have right now, and then like good bench, just that can probably win a championship. But that's like the perfect.
That's every championship team. Like every championship team is flawless, or
it's not though. Like it's.
I mean, they're close to it.
It's.
I don't think like the Knicks. You take away Jaylen Brunson, you put Trae Young. It's not a big drop.
They're worse. It's a huge drop off.
They're worse. But I don't think. I think they win maybe 6 to 7 less games.
He thinks he's in that. He thinks he's in that conversation with Steph and Luka and Jaylen.
Yeah, he's not that. He's not.
He's more in the conversation. He's not even in the conversation with Tyrese Maxey.
Is he in the conversation with Devin Booker?
Oh no.
Is Devin Booker a point guard? And if so, no. Still no. He's out of the top 10 in point guards right now, let alone top.
You think Trae Young's not a top 10 point guard in the league?
Correct. Not one that I would build around. We're not talking about skill and talent. We're not talking about stats. And that's why I'm saying he's a fraud, because here's why I say fraud. He was traded for Luka. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Jalen's named them. I don't know if we're in the mood for that, but
well, I can look it up in a second. My memory stinks. But that being said, he thinks of himself as a superstar point guard who could be the number one option on a championship team. He thinks if you took him and instead of drafting, if they were the same age, they're not, but in rookie year, you replace him with you replace Curry with him. He thinks the Warriors still win those championships. They don't. He thinks if you replace Jaylen Brunson with him, the Knicks are still as successful as they are. They're not. So that when I say he's a fraud because everyone is acting like he's a superstar, and he can be the number one guy that leads a team to a championship, and he cannot. Period. That doesn't mean he's not talented. That doesn't mean he can't score. That doesn't mean he's not a great passer. Two things can be true at the same time. But if I'm going to give a guy max money to make my team worse, it doesn't make any sense. Just think about the team he's on. They're significantly better when he doesn't play. That should tell you something really important. He doesn't play winning basketball. He plays statistic basketball.
I don't think him and Jalen Johnson are the best.
I don't believe he has the mental capacity to step back and be the third option on a team. He's in year 8. His game isn't going to change. He's not going to all of a sudden become efficient.
He's not. The Raptors are not in on him.
The Raptors would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, I think so too.
To go get him. Although that's kind of a Raptor thing to do. What the Raptors should do is get Anthony Davis.
Would you trade IQ for Trae Young straight up?
I don't think Atlanta would, but
they'd want like Barrett. They'd want. I mean, what? But with the Anthony Davis thing, look, I think that's a great fit for the Raptors. Who do you give up?
Jakob Poeltl.
I think you have to give up more money.
I don't. No.
Isn't AD making close? AD's making closer to like 45, and Poeltl's making like
55, I think.
Yeah, and Poeltl's making like 20.
Throw in IQ. I'll give him IQ and Poeltl. Because here's the one thing I know about Toronto. They got the best training staff in the business. Everyone who goes there doesn't get hurt. Look at BI. Other than right now, he just jammed his thumb, but he'll be fine. It was just a jammed thumb. Like all the guys who've been career hurt, injured players, they have their healthiest seasons going to Toronto. But that being said, let's stick to Trae Young for a second. So when I say fraud, that's what I mean is that he's not this superstar number one option. That he is a fraud. Can he be a number 2 option on a competitive team? 100%. Can he be the number 3 option on a team with championship aspirations? If he can live with, shooting less, being more efficient, and not being so turnover heavy, yeah, sure. But is that if I told you, hey, you're a number 1 superstar, here's a number 1 superstar money, but you're going to be the 3rd option, are you not a fraud? Jalen's
I hear what you're saying.
Jaylen, you're the biggest Tamil star in the movie history, but no one comes and watches your movies. Are you really?
I mean, hey, then you're definitely not the star. You're definitely not the star. You got to bring in the box office numbers.
So that's all I'm saying is statistically he looks great, but is he that guy? If you're building a team, would you start with him?
I wouldn't start with him, no, without a doubt. But look, if I can get Trae Young for the cheap, right now, if I can get a guy who's being undervalued, I'll do that. If I can get him for the cheap, I'll definitely got to trade for a talent like that and see if I can make it work.
Well, if you can get him on the cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that about any superstar in the league? If I said, hey, Luka, would you be interested?
Without a doubt.
Giannis?
Without a doubt.
Ant?
Without a doubt.
But
those guys are in other realms compared to him.
I think he's below John Morant on the wish list.
I'll take Trae Young over John Morant every day.
I'll take Trae Young over John Morant too.
I'll take John Morant. I'll take John Morant.
Trae Young still has his moments of look like an all-star. John Morant really doesn't have those anymore.
Trae Young has his moments of looking like an offensive all-star, which doesn't help your team win.
So does John Morant. He's not really the best defender either.
Right, and I'd still take him.
I mean, it's like I saw a poll the other day. It was 4 guys. It was Trae, it was Ja, it was Zion, and it was someone else. Maybe it was. I think it was LaMelo was the 4th one. Probably. Like, which one would you take out of those 4 guys? And I forgot which. I forgot like how the poll ended up, but it was pretty. Yeah, it was like pretty. It was like all those 4 guys. I'm like, I don't want any of those guys on my team. Let me check to see if I can find it. Actually,
is there a no option? I don't want any of them.
There was not on Twitter, but yeah, obviously all 30 GMs had the option to say no.
While you pull that up, let's go around the horn. Where's the best? So where is the best fit? Because I'll tell you this: I saw someone say, "Oh, if you put Trae in place of SGA, if you put Trae in for SGA, Oklahoma City's still winning championships."
You found Jalen's burner.
Look, they're in contention. I don't know if they'd be as good, but they're in contention. They're 100% in contention. I think that team around
you're not in contention.
That team around Trae Young is that team is built for Trae Young.
Collapses.
That team is built for Trae Young.
That team collapses like a boulder in the ocean.
I think Hogan is better next to.
They get swept by the Nuggets.
Definitely not.
They get swept by the Hornets.
They sweep in the Hornets. They beat the Nuggets in 6 or 5.
They get swept by the Trailblazers.
I think Chet takes a huge leap next to Trae Young.
Really? Who took a huge leap next to Trae Young?
Much better playmaker than SGA. I think he can find.
He's a better passer for sure.
He's a better passer. I think better the pick and roll. I think I think him putting Chet in the right positions.
Shea's the better driver though. So
yeah, for sure. I mean,
he's obviously the better mid-range shooter. He's the better.
Shea's better at everything except
Trae Young's a better 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he's probably a little better. By the way, I was wrong. It wasn't LaMelo. It was Joel Embiid actually.
Joel Embiid.
So the results of the poll came out to be Zion 36.8%. He won. Trae 34.4%. John Morant 17.5%. Joel Embiid 15.3%.
That's the correct answer right there. They get swept by the Buffalo.
You put Trae Young in Cleveland, the way they're playing right now, put him next to Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. He got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen behind him. Give me that.
Become a play.
I'd be interested to see how that one works out actually, because
they become a play-in team.
They are a playing team already.
They're a playing team right now.
Yeah. And they fall out of the playoffs.
No, they're a top.
I don't think so. You think they fall out of the playoffs? They replace.
Yeah,
Darius Garland.
They'd be top 2 in the East.
I think any good team, if they replace, because you got to replace someone. You can't just add
Darius Garland. You're replacing Darius Garland.
That team is easily top 2 in the East, if not winning the East.
They get worse. I think you put Trae on any team, they get worse.
I think they get better.
Yeah, 100%.
They get worse. So what makes the most sense then? What makes the most sense for Trae Young? If you were a super GM, and you could just put him on any team, what makes the most sense for him, Jaylen?
I put Milwaukee, Cleveland, or Milwaukee, Cleveland. Yeah, that's about it. I think of right now.
Milwaukee or Cleveland, okay.
Yeah.
I'll say the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, not like that. That's not bad.
I think that putting him next to Jalen Suggs, who's having a career year, you can have Jalen Suggs be guarding all the best players, and then Trae Young be the offensive guard. They're a very defensive identity team, so being surrounded by those 4 defenders, and then they're also a very inefficient offensive team, so he would be the guy to carry their offense. So I don't know, I don't know who I'd flipped him with, but I think that he would. I think that he would be like his ideal situation would be the Orlando Magic. I would think.
All right.
It's back in the 80s.
I did this thing with Jermaine yesterday. I said, hey, I have this MMA fighter that I know, and he knows the most dangerous knockout move. You want me to teach you it? And he goes, yeah, sure. I said, okay, you make 2 fists like this. Don't put your thumbs inside because then they'll break. Put your thumbs, and then just wave them side to side until the momentum hits you. And then I played that just as he's. It's funny. All right, so enough of Trae Young. So Trae Young, Shanghai Sharks. Next topic / last topic. Jaylen Brown, and it's unfortunate Ori isn't here because Ori's the big Jaylen Brown. Ori's the one that I think is pushing this agenda, but you're a Celtics fan. Is Jaylen Brown have an MVP case?
He would have an MVP case in any other season. Not any other season, but like in most other seasons. The fact of the matter is that Shea is yet again having one of the best scoring seasons of all time on one of the best teams of all time. That being said, they're not really that great, an all-time great team anymore because they've been losing a good amount of their games lately. I would still have Shea as my MVP favorite, but outside of him, it's anyone else's ballgame in my opinion.
Do you think? Okay, sorry, Jaylen MVP, yep. Jaylen MVP.
No, MVP Jaylen Brown's ridiculous. I mean, it's just there's just other guys who are having such iconic seasons, great seasons. I think he's great. He might get a vote. Like he's top 10 in MVP.
Where did you have the Celtics finishing this year when you saw Porzingis was gone, Holiday was gone, Tatum was hurt, Horford was gone? Like, where did you think they were going to finish?
Top 4.
You had them top 4?
Did you have them top 4? I don't remember you saying that.
I just think the East is. I said the East was like wide open. Like the East.
Did you say
to
that?
me,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty like the East was wide open. Like every team that you had, like 1, 2, whether it would have been the Knicks, Cleveland's in that conversation. Orlando, the Hawks were in there. I mean, the margins were so thin. Boston, great, well coached, great coach, doing their thing. Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Jaylen Brown, like they still had guys there. And in the East, like in the West, they're missing the playoffs, right? I mean, and in the East, it was just a situation where, they could easily be top 4.
Do you think this causes a problem when Tatum returns?
Absolutely not. This has been a talking point for years now. The corrupt mainstream media. I'm sounding like I'm sounding like you with with the shirt. You think I'm a far conservative now talking. Like the corrupt mainstream media is trying to break up the guys, but like no, this is actually true though. It's been it's been for years.
And Kobe, they did it to Kobe. They did it to Kobe. The media broke them up because they started saying whose team is it, who's that, blah, 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 blah. I'm scared that this is going to happen to Tatum and Brown.
I don't think so. Mainly just because like we saw 2019 happen where the rumors were that the Celtics were going to trade both Tatum and Brown for Kyrie Irving. We saw it happen in 2020 when Tatum was like finally becoming the superstar and Jaylen Brown was still being held back for a bit. We saw it in 2021 where the Celtics were the 7th seed after when Jaylen Brown was hurt. But 6 years, how long? When it was, like 8 years later now, the Celtics are NBA champions, and Jaylen Brown's playing the best basketball of his life, and no one could be happier. I don't think there is a single world where Jason Tatum comes back and it's going to cause clash in the locker room, because apparently there's been locker room issues with him for years now, and it just hasn't been reality.
Listen, Jordan and Pippen still don't.
Look, if they were like 22,
Jordan and Pippen still don't.
22, 23.
He had a good season when Jordan wasn't there. I'm just saying it's happened.
I think if Jaylen Brown and Tatum were both still like 22, 23, I could see it being a problem. I mean, Jaylen Brown's 29, pretty smart guy. I want to see the interviews. Tatum's 27. I just think their maturity. They understand it takes multiple great players to win a championship. Jaylen Brown has his Finals MVP. I mean, it's just. Again, it's just an age thing, right? It's just like with the Kobe Shaq thing. If they were older, I think they've based that interview, they would have handled it differently. So I think they're at a stage in their careers and life where it won't be a problem.
Do you believe that a player averaging 26, 6, and 6 will get an MVP vote this year?
26, 6 with MVP vote this year. What's my man Danny Avdija averaging?
It depends. It's possible, but I'm gonna say a 5th place MVP vote. Yes, he'll get maybe at least one. Why?
LeBron James.
Go James.
LeBron James.
Who was ruled out today and killed my fantasy day. But what are you gonna
Because
do?
since dropping 8 points in Toronto and not playing the next game, that is what LeBron James has been averaging since 26, 6, and 6. And I'm guaranteeing it today. He will get at least one MVP vote.
That's it. Is he gonna be eligible? I don't know if he is.
LeBron James.
Oh, damn
Guess
it.
what? The rules don't apply to him. He gonna get a vote, Chris. He gonna get a vote.
If he's eligible. Speaking of eligible, I'm glad. See, it's like you read my mind. So with Jokic possibly, or maybe has already, being out of the MVP race because of
I think.
games. I think he's close. Yeah. People are starting to say, "Oh, maybe the 65 games shouldn't be a thing." Should they go back on that new rule? Or
no, I think it's fine. The number one stat is availability. I don't. You can give me 50 points a night, but if you're playing 40 games, it doesn't matter.
So
right?
heaven forbid. Hold on. Yeah. So heaven forbid something happens to SGA and Jaylen Brunson wins the MVP. You're cool with that?
Yes, he wins MVP. He led his team. He played the games necessary to get the award. The other guys didn't get the award, and that's fine. Like, you don't get the MVP. You have to play the games to win MVP. And like I said, it's very rarely ever given to the best player in the league. More often than not, I mean, if we go over the past 30 years, we can have a debate, whether the best player in the league actually won it or not. But yeah, so this whole everyone getting so upset about, he's not winning MVP. Look, he didn't play 65 games. He's not winning MVP. I don't really think it's that big of a deal too. I know players, they really care about MVPs, and it matters, sure. But then they always said, like, when I watch these guys, like, I can tell you how great Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe, Duncan, all these guys are without mentioning MVPs. If you watch the games, you don't need to mention their MVPs to tell people how great. Jokic, whether he's a 3 or 4 time MVP, we understand how great he is on the offensive end. Like, he's Jokic and what he's doing, right? So I think people are just overreacting. Sometimes people just want something to be upset about. But yeah, not a big deal. Play the games. Win the award.
So you're right, Jaylen, in the sense that, like, if you want to win MVP, that's correct. You should be able to, like 65 games. That's a minimum. Like that, like I 100% agree with you there. The issue is when you dive into the all NBA teams, there are plenty of players out there who, are more valuable to their team playing 63 games, and there are guys out there that play 68 games. So that is where that's where the conversation. Like, I understand you have to cut off somewhere, but like if a guy has like an injury beginning of the year, like he turns his ankle, and maybe more than turns his ankle, like say he does something that he's out for a month, but then he comes back, his team was the 10 seed, and then they finish as the 4th seed. That's like that's like, if he puts up the numbers and like his impact, and he shows the impact, that's the guy that deserves to make the All NBA team if he plays 63 games. As opposed to a guy who
what if a guy comes in for the last 20 games and they're in 10th, like you said, and they win all last 20 games, and that's the only 20 they go, and they will go 20-0, and they finish in the 3rd seed. Should that person get MVP? Eventually, you're going to have a cutoff, right?
Of course, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So like, like
65, and what about the guy who did 63? Well, then okay, let's say you make it 60. Well, then there's a guy who played 58 games,
exactly,
who's more impactful than a guy who played 60.
So the question is right? Yeah, I'm with you. So my thing is 65 too high? I feel like it might be too high. I'm willing to cut it down to either 60 or 62. Anything less than that might be a little silly. I would say either 60 or 62. I would say
in 1998. Well, 97, 90. I believe it was 90s. It was either 96 or 98. It was one of the Bulls' last three-peats. It was 98. Scottie Pippen having had back surgery that offseason, missed the beginning of the season, only played 44 games.
Right.
Made all NBA defensive team. Shouldn't have, but did. Do you know why?
His name is Scottie Pippen.
Because of reputation.
Yeah. The media votes on reputation. And I think the reason for the 65 games is, one, they needed to reduce some of the load management for those people that care about accolades. And two, they needed to get away from guys playing half the season and because of name recognition. Because let's be honest, we want to give the media a ton of credit. I guarantee you, every single one of us talking right now watch more basketball games than 90% of the media. You know how I know? Because I talk to them. And you know what they're doing all the time? They're doing this show, they're doing that show, they're traveling here, they're traveling there, they're doing this, right? They're watching, they're at a game watching one. Like when I went to the Raptors Warriors, great game by the way. And shout out to the Warriors. You treated my son so amazing, signing his jersey and all that good stuff that you guys did. Raptors, you guys suck. Let's be honest, you don't do anything for your fans. Warriors treated my guy properly. That being said, imagine being in Toronto and the visiting team treats kids better than the. But anyways,
MLS is going through it.
Rant for another day. That being said, I was watching the Warriors and Raptors game. I wasn't watching any other games. But when I'm home, I can watch 2-3 games. Can I not?
Yeah.
Like I'm watching more basketball. So so if they're at the game, if they're traveling here, traveling there, doing this, doing that, doing these shows, they're not watching a lot of basketball. When Adam Silver says it's a highlight league, I think he's talking about the media. It's the media because that's what they're doing. They're watching highlights because that's all they have time to do. That's not a knock. That's all they have time to do.
That's what Stephen A does. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Especially all NBA defense voting. Like, you know how hard it is to really watch guys on defense and really
exactly.
You have to really watch.
To watch a guy give a guy an all. That's a great point. To give a guy an all defensive vote, you got to watch him off ball when no one else is watching him and see what he does.
That's the most important thing is watching off ball. No one does that.
No one does that. So I'm like, so these guys are voting for what? For what? And again, no disrespect. They're busy. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying.
No. Yeah.
So they're watching highlights, and these are the people that we've entrusted to make these votes. So I think that's why is the 65 because at 65 games, if you've at least done XYZ statistically, and the highlights, because let's be honest, the highlights kind of match up with those. Why do you think so many guys who lead the league in blocks get depoy? It's because you can go watch a package of their, 4 blocks, 3 blocks a game, and be like, oh, look at his plus minus was through the roof, and look at his. Like when you look at every defensive player of the year winner, do you know what they all have in common? They were close. They were close to the top in stocks. So whether it's steals or blocks, they're statistically better than the people below them in blocks and occasionally defensive rebounds as well. They put defensive rebounds in there as well. And then when you look at the advanced stats, their defensive win share, their plus minus, all of those things rank kind of top 5 more than the person behind them. And their team is a top 5 ranked defense, even if they have 10 other great defenders on the team. Well, if I can do that math without ever watching one game, and that's 95% of every Defensive Player of the Year award winner, then I'm going to go with the reality of, well, then you guys aren't watching. You're just doing that. You're just doing that.
Yeah.
Our time is done. What are you on Thursday?
We're back tomorrow. Yeah, we took the couple weeks off, but yeah, we're back tomorrow.
First off, let me say bye to TikTok.
Yeah. Yep. Peace. Not tomorrow, but the next.
Wait. Can I ask you a question? Did you just end your TikTok live?
I did not. I'm still on.
Oh, you're still on? I want you to tell me when you hit end, does it show you how much money you earned?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, because I doubt I made any money off this now. I want to do that now, actually. And no one's watching anyway. So,
tell me what it said.
Yeah, $0 estimated earn this live. Yeah.
Okay, I got 1 penny.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to the penny.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So,
it's at $10, $100. I don't get paid because I'm in Canada. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tomorrow's just me and Matt's, and then next week it's going to be myself along with Tyler from Hoop Venue. He's the one that I debated on one fan versus Haters. So, yeah. So like that'll be good to debrief with him, and then the week after that, I think we're gonna have another one of the haters. So that'll be. So yeah. Awesome. Football season's almost over, so we're gonna be able to have like a lot of the other guests that do both basketball and football on the show. So we're excited for that.
What's your football? What do you have? I forgot. I apologize if you told me this before. Who's your team?
No, I don't have anything football, but I interact with the guys that do both basketball and football stuff. So like it's So like when football season's over, it'll be easier to interact with them.
New show coming to Wednesday nights. Yep. I don't know if it's a week or 2 weeks yet. Fluent versus Chill versus everybody. This would be really cool. More details to follow. Fluent versus Chill versus everybody. The reason it's coming is we did a poll. We had a few thousand people on Chilltown and said, what do you guys want to see? And they said more debates. And I was like, really? More debates? And they said, yep. Like, I can't believe, like, do you know what Jordan versus LeBron? Jordan's been retired for 30 years.
But that conversation is the most
biggest thing in like sports. It's crazy.
It is, but it's so redundant at this point. Like, it's just like every time I have it, we go through the same thing.
The same talking points, the same, all of on both sides. Fake narratives, lies, twists of the truth. And there's channels that's all they do. It's crazy to me. Just like how many times can you say you can't go left? Look at this clip, and then you're like, well, here's 5 clips where he can. Oh, LeBron can't do this, and then well, here's a clip where he can. Oh, like it's the same.
How many times can we talk about longevity, 6-0, this that? It's just like everything's been said. You know what I mean? Like it's just
there's no new information.
Exactly. There's no new information. It's just I know it. LeBron's second all time in total assists. Right?
Breaking news.
What? Trae Young.
Big trade.
Atlanta Hawks are trading 4-time All-Star Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert.
That is Trae Young.
No, that's exactly the trade that they had said yesterday.
Yeah. Oh my God. Any draft capital involved? Doesn't look like it yet, but
breaking news.
Wow.
Okay, so let's Trae Young to Washington. For
CJ McCollum. Gotta be picks in there.
I think it's just the money. He wanted to go, they wanted him out.
Wow.
To trade Trae Young for CJ and Kispert is wild.
That is wild. Oh my God.
It's a good young player. I think that's actually it's good for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And Washington probably wants to sell some tickets.
CJ's been good this year. CJ's been giving me like 20 points, 4 and 4. Whether they're empty stats or not, but I mean, he's been pretty solid.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Trae Young to Washington. I think we definitely beat Woj because he doesn't do this anymore.
No, no, I read it off Sean. So unfortunately, we didn't beat him. We did. I think we did beat Chris Haynes though. We definitely did. Yeah. So we did.
All right, I'm gonna post it. All right, fellas. Right, I see you.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.